Interesting. How did you get in all this?
Well, originally through documentary filmmaking.
And it was like how many years ago?
That was in 92, 93.
Wow.
That I was doing that. And from there I became, through researching this area for documentary filmmaking, I kind of started practicing it and became a practitioner.
Yeah.
And gradually developed my psychic skills. Then, I studied the tarot, palmistry, astrology, runes, channeling, mediumship. And when I say studied it, I mean you. Most people think that this is a gift that people have.
Yeah.
And to me, it's not a gift; it's a language.
It's learning.
It's a language, and it's a language that has to be learned. And once it's learned, it has to be developed, like any language.
Yeah.
And then, once you've mastered the language, becoming a poet is what makes it creative. Becoming a really good writer is what makes it creative.
Yeah.
But being able to handle the language and being able to communicate and share in the language is something anyone can do. It's mastering the language. It's so.
So what inspired you to become a master in spirituality?
Well, I mean,
a teacher.
I mean, essentially wanting to do something that carried some kind of significance in terms of either doing something worthwhile, basically, and either helping people or helping myself, or and just
both ways,
and just trying to build a better life for myself and people around me.
Sure.
That was the essential thing. Taking care of the planet, which doesn't seem to be being taken care of very much, and also this fascination I have with spirituality, which comes from my childhood, and with communication on all levels, which comes from looking at shamanism and journeying and magic in American Indian magic and magic on all levels, and generally looking at sort of indigenous cultures and how they view the world in such a different way than we do. For example, the Aboriginals see this as the dream, and dream time as the reality.
Wow, opposite.
And so when we're in this dimension, we're not in the real. We're in an illusion, and it is the oldest culture on the planet. It's been around for 50,000 years. It's surviving. It probably will outlive Western culture and what we're doing at the moment, and they still, when they're given the space to do so, they still live by their principles, and it's just such a different worldview that it completely and totally shatters the idea of how we function in our world and what makes communication, how we function, and then from there, looking at the communication that most of our world focuses on, which is the intellect, verbal, what the words are saying. But really, when you're having a conversation with someone, it's not just that, but it's the energy exchange and everything that's going on. And I started exploring this area in order to understand how that works.
So who was your teachers, mentors, for example, either from books or from like live ones? Did you have somebody that was standing by you?
Well, I lived in community with 10 different people, and through the practice of Qigong, we all honed in our psychic skills, doing various meditation exercises on a daily basis, and then through the sharing. So I trained as a Reiki healer, as I said, tarot reader, astrologer. I did actual courses for all of those things. But then living in community was a kind of where it was. I spent 14 years living in community, and it was very much it was run by two people that were teachers working professionally as a psychic. So I started doing readings in 1994, 95, and through doing them and reading about them and reading, things like emotional intelligence, things like the Battle of the Sexes, Ram Dass and the Dalai Lama, a lot of Taoist Louis Bi Ching, and using Bi Ching as a principle for, reading about the Kabbalah from different authors, and just generally it became a life practice, sort of grounded in different forms of meditation and different forms of understanding, and gradually from that I created an understanding of therapy, some of it taught, some of it self-taught. I took a basic 10-week course in counselling, which gives you the basic principles of counselling. I'm trained as a life coach.
So there are so many people who want to become either a life coach or go into spirituality more. What would be your advice? Like, I don't know, like 3 tips or 5 tips for them, where to start?
Get up off your chair.
Good one. First.
And go and do something that, if you're thinking of being a life coach, it's because you're already interested in the subject.
In some kind of subject.
So find someone who can teach you something about the subject. So if you want to become a life coach, go and do an online life coach course. Go onto YouTube and find out about it and read about it. Then, if you want to enter this world, you'll need to know your mind, your body, and your spirit. And you can't do that unless you do some form of meditation. Now, yoga to me, Tai Chi, are meditation through movement. So go and practice one of those and start developing your skills in doing that. Then read people, read everything you can about the subject, and just inform yourself in every which way you can. Don't believe everything that people tell you when you read it, because a lot of people talk a lot of bullshit. And basically, what you read, explore, find out, does it work, is it real?
Try on yourself, see it. Yeah.
So for example, simple thing is understanding that the force, the warmth that you feel in your hands, when you feel it, that's what you used to be a Reiki healer. That's what you, and the Reiki is about learning a series of symbols that then help you to attune the chakras in a particular kind of way, in order to realign someone's energies so that it can flow naturally. Well, so find out about the chakras and what they are and what the energy centers are. Find out about energy and how it works. Read physics. Read about string theory. Read about what this reality is. Read about. Inform yourself. Fritjof Capra, for example, is a really good guy to read if you want to find out about he's written a book called The Tao of Physics, which teaches you the basic principles on that. And then Sheldrake and like I mentioned before, Ram Dass, Paulo Coelho, Deepak Chopra. Just read. He talks about quantum mechanics, timeless body, timeless mind, and he explains the principles of how this universe operates, how the actual physical reality of us being here, how it operates and how that affects reality. Then go and explore all the different ways in which you can learn about these things. Why do dogs know that you're coming 5 minutes before you arrive? When my son, my youngest son, was very little, I used to live in a place in north of Gloucester called Bridstow, Ross and Wye, and we had 5 dogs in the garden, and there used to be, and because it was quite a large property, we couldn't afford to fence it, so we put an electric fence around the thing. So the dogs were wearing a collar, and when they got close to the fence, they used to get an electric shock.
Oh my God.
Now,
you're afraid. I'm not going to put this on you.
One of the dogs was called Ming.
Almost monk.
Ming, on behalf of Louis Ming,
Okay.
who did in my opinion, the best translation of the I Ching, or the best modern interpretation of the I Ching. Then translated by Matthew Clary, that's the best one. And he used to be the first of the 5 dogs that used to go and sit in front of the gate, which was open, and he used to sit in front of it like 8 meters in front of the gate, and he used to wait for my son to arrive. And then what would happen is he would go there, and he would be the first because he was the one that was attuned to them. And then the other 4 dogs would join, and you get the 5 dogs lined up sitting, just where they wouldn't get the electric shock, waiting for him to turn up. And so they knew when he was coming because they sensed him coming. And during the weekends that he wasn't with me, that he was with his mum, I mean, because we lived in the same property, in the same village, sometimes he would come to visit me without me realizing. And sometimes I'd be looking at it in the garden, and Ming would be sitting there, and I go, "Oh, Louis coming!" Louis, and 5 minutes later, Louis would turn up.
Wow.
And he knew that he was coming, and they had a really, really close relationship. Unfortunately, they kind of went in different directions afterwards. But that extrasensory perception, those inner realms, which religion and mythology and yoga, everyone is trying to explain reality and how it works, and then how we construct our reality, our lives. Those are the things that interest me, and I do this in order to help people construct their lives and their reality in order to achieve what they want to achieve.